everyone for your patience, trying to get everything in line for tonight's county council regular meeting, August the 12th, 2025. The first thing I'd like to say, I've got a couple sick. I know Stephanie's sick, Chad's sick, and I think we need to take just a moment of silence for the Venom family. What might have been our community. You know, that's irreplaceable. Listen.
How are you, sweetheart?
Thank you. All right. Putting on our agenda there.
Chance.
Chance. All right.
So, I think I'm on there to speak on the, guilt money, but I think we have done some asking on that and determined that.
James, I don't mean to be rude, but could you stand up so at least the camera gets you?
Well, on there, I had been listed on there for the, PILT money. I had had some conversations with some other counties, and every county handles it a little bit differently, and, I don't know that we've ever, drafted an ordinance to designate what the PILT money goes for. I know it can go into either, county general fund or the county, highway fund. I talked to DuBois County, and they've been receiving this money since 1997. And they have always deposited it into the motor vehicle highway fund, but they couldn't find an ordinance on it. And I don't think Perry County could either. Wendy talked to them. And I think they determined that if there's no ordinance, it just goes into the county general fund. So that may be a conversation for the future. The main thing I was here tonight is to present the invoices from EMV paving on the Alton Fredonia slide correction, and I can provide any updates on questions you may have about that. I sent it to Chad before the meeting, so I have a paper copy.
Okay.
There's two separate invoices, one for the actual repair on the slide itself, and then one for the removal of the temporary road. They're listed as 1 and 2.
And the price of the repair, Chance.
For the repair was $431,210. The removal of the temporary road was $47,250.
Chance, is FEMA going to reimburse any of this?
That's the $432,000 question. So we met with them last Tuesday, all day, about 8 or 9 hours. Dan was able to go to that with me. So their initial answer is no. And when they said that the reason being is because Alton Fredonia Road is what's called a major collector, which means the Federal Highway Administration is responsible for the repairs. And when I said Federal Highway and NDOT says they're not responsible, they said FEMA agrees that they're not responsible, but because of the classification of a major collector, they will not pay. They call that duplication of benefits. So we will be filing an appeal with FEMA through our congressional representatives, and we have 60 days to file that appeal. So if that appeal is successful, we'll be reimbursed 75% of the cost of the total project. But as of right now, the initial reaction is no. Whether that's successful or not, it's going to be a long drawn out process, but we feel like we have to fight it. We have to appeal based on the large expenditure.
Thoughts, and questions, comments, motions?
Was that the only issue we had associated with that big rain, was that, I thought we had another.
We had several small projects all throughout the county, including the next largest one was the McIntosh small structure, which they seem much more amenable to paying those claims. They have not definitively said yes. I'll be meeting with them once a week for the next 60 days. I'm meeting with them tomorrow. And they're supposed to start giving answers on those projects, but that they will all be saying, we pay the cost forward since they're considered repairs we have to make anyway. And then they'll reimburse us, and they'll reimburse in real time too. So it won't be that we're waiting this whole time and then in 2 years we'll get a check. They say if they approve the projects, we pay it out, we submit our claims, then we get a reimbursement.
It's my thought that that should be paid out of the restricted fund. And that's why I would make a motion that we do. 1173. There's 609,000 in there.
What didn't we already? So I know that was on the line where we had to.
I don't know that that 609,000 figure is accurate as of today, once some of the claims from community crossings have started to be paid. I would think that that would be a delayed figure compared to what it's showing.
Or you do get 200,000 a month into that, right?
Now we get 100,000 approximately a month into the restricted fund, the other 100,000 goes into the unrestricted fund.
One thing you gotta remember is that the MVH fund, the money we get in, 50% of it, a little over 50% of it all goes to salaries and benefits. So we only operate on a little less than 50% of the money that's accumulated. And we had the loan that y'all orchestrated last year. You paid that all out of there. You've also paying the community crossings out of there and forcing us into paying this out of our MVH fund restricts the limits that we have for the remainder of the year. Got winter preparation coming up, and then we're just gonna be coming back asking for more money to get through the winter, the first part of the winter.
That's what I want you to do, Martin. I want you to.
No,
set money up.
You've got plenty of money and everything after this. This was a incident that was not unplanned, unbudgeted. That's what a rainy day fund is for.
Oh, no,
Oh, in my opinion, it is. Everybody has an opinion on that.
because it's raining.
It's
You don't.
your all decision.
This needs to be paid out of the restricted fund. It can't be used for nothing else but highway expenses, road repairs. And when you spend it up, we'll give you more out of the general fund, but not until.
Why do we need to go out here every month asking for money? We got the rest, we got roads all over this county, these are repaired and stuff right now, we're spending the money on.
I agree with you, but I don't want you to carry over $100,000 like you did last year.
You want to micromanage the highway department.
No, that's what you do.
I have one more second.
Not based on mine, it's based on people.
Bill,
Yes.
he says they had 474,000.
Is that what was ran as of July 31st? Or just wait and look at their cash account for 1173 and it showed 471,000.
So we got this paper that's not good, right?
No, we have to run it as of the end of the month, so.
The county has to maintain in that NVH fund, you have to maintain an operating balance. You cannot spend it down to zero, as you're saying. The the highway's expenses, if we didn't do anything, if all we did was pay payroll and benefits, would exceed $100,000 a month easily. That's before you pay Duke Energy to keep the lights on or anything else that is part of what we do. If you spend this fund, the restricted fund down to zero, you're gonna get into a, operating deficit on your cash that you're probably never gonna come out of. Not without serious other, revenue sources being looked at.
You asked about 4929.
All right, what's in 4929?
Looks like about 867,000. I don't know what's 24. Yeah,
We're trying to use the lowest.
okay. He's going with this.
Let's look at what they were.
Take cash out there and half out the other?
Yeah. That's good. So you're more excited.
Hold on. Well, is that capital, I guess, economic development, what about economic development? Got money in there too, split it up. Somehow you gotta get query. We got money in economic development too, that's exciting. Not really about it. All right. Oh, that was at the beginning, yeah.
What number is that, Sean?
Yeah.
Revised, well, there's one thing.
I think if we do that, when the reimbursement comes back out of the funds, correct?
Yes. So that's why I thought it ought to come out of there. Of course, if they probably would have 75% back. But if they only had to throw something in there and just.
I'd be okay with that. And. We'll make a motion also.
What we got going on in the economic development fund? Yes.
Projects going in, got a new, housing project going on, we've got another, possible business that's coming in that we're gonna need funding for. Some of that, we're working with the Leavenworth Sewer District, to upgrade the sewer system, which is, how much money is that?
That was,
Well over $1 million, we're working with, the town of Leavenworth to upgrade the sewer system, and it's not adequate.
That's not fair. We got
We got going on there.
yeah, that's gonna be huge cost.
Plenty, we operate for a lot of that money.
The sewage system up in Leavenworth,
Yeah.
it's falling apart. They're asking for help.
The lift station's gotta be upgraded. The treatment plant is almost completely depleted.
When's this bill due?
It says on the bill, it'll be due this sometime later this month.
Yeah,
It's net 30 from the day of billing, which I think. is
7:30, so 8:30.
The only thing I'm just going to, just gonna talk out loud here is there, took a lot of money, to figure out the shuffle. We're having a special meeting.
26.
26. I mean, that might give us the time to make an educated decision, and I just really think we should sit here and just shuffle something right now. I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah, we're okay. Okay. Just wanted to verify.
I think we could split it up between a couple different places instead of taking it all out of one.
We might even look at three different places.
That's what I'm saying, split it up. If we got a couple weeks to play with it, we've got another meeting coming up.
We need to, we need to back balances on them funds. And also some of them funds, there's money that's gonna be taken out that hadn't been taken out, so it's spoke for. So we just wanna make sure for that.
I'm not comfortable making a $500,000 decision in a 15-minute notice. I'd rather have a week. to talk about it.
I agree with John.
So I'll withdraw my motion, Mark, and motion to table this.
I second motion table.
You second then?
Yeah, I second.
Okay.
Rescinded his motion. I second.
All in favor?
There might be more money, but that's three.
Bill, I'm gonna let you look at that because I moved around.
That's a new one that we just ran down.
Thank you. It's perfect. There's that is worst fact. Yeah, we got that.
Jaden Wolf.
Wolf. Stand up.
Real excited to talk to me more. I'm actually gonna let my board president Angela say something first. Our board as a whole voted to have her say something to you guys before I go through my typical spiel, so I'll let her talk first.
Thank you. The Parks Board has worked really hard this year to secure resources needed to revitalize our park. Following the county's encouragement to pursue grants and community donations, we've done our part, raising over $113,000 in grant funding alone. Yet we're now facing serious roadblocks because the county has not put reliable accounting and management practices in place. Our most urgent example is the MFA oil grant. It was awarded in October 2024 for the installation of a security system at our facility. That check sat unprocessed for weeks while the auditor's office determined how to handle those funds. Even after it was deposited in February, it took another month for it to appear in our account, only for it to be moved to another account without the knowledge of the park board, despite repeated requests from our park manager, Jaden, for correction. As of today, we cannot move forward with this project as it's still unclear how the county would like us to proceed with purchasing the equipment that we were granted the money for. We do not believe it is in our best interest for the park manager to purchase this equipment and then request a reimbursement from you. This is not an isolated incident. It is a symptom of a broken system, broken processes. Without timely access to our funds, the Parks Board risks violating our grant requirements, damaging our credibility with our funders and contractors, and losing opportunities for future awards. These consequences will harm not just the board, but the county's reputation as a responsible steward of public resources. The Parks Board is calling on the county to take immediate action. We have three things we're asking. One, establish a dedicated and transparent account for the Parks Board funds that is accessible to the board for authorized purchases. Two, ensure that all grants and donations are deposited, recorded, and made available for our use without delay. Three, provide real-time accounting access so the board can monitor our balances and track expenditures. We cannot fulfill this mission nor meet the expectations of our grantors without your cooperation. The people of this county and the community expect their donations and tax dollars to be used as promised, and right now that trust is at risk. We also want to include that more time and effort is continuously taken by Jaden, and that we think that that effort is better spent improving the facility and continuing to do work out there. We urge you to address this matter so that the Parks Board can proceed with the projects that we have yet to come. We're ready to meet however we can to figure this out.
Thank you. Is that the volume on that?
No, that's the phone.
Can you turn it down? I'm struggling to concentrate. Apologize.
So, like I said, that was Angela. Our board voted to have her come and just talk to you guys just a little bit about what we've been working on. And then I was also on the agenda because I talked to Chad and Bill, a couple weeks ago, and Bill told me to come here so we could talk about, a few months ago, I think it was at the May meeting, we were told that 50,000 would be put into our account to, get us through the rest of this year. And then, Bill, you might be able to say a little bit more about this than what I can, but from what I had been what Chad had said to me is that we would have that put into our 1219 fund, and then we'd be able to transfer it as needed. I guess it got put into two new funds, Bill, is that correct? Not our 1219, but two new funds.
My motion was to put 25,000 into utilities and 25,000 into maintenance.
Right.
So that you could repair the air conditioners, and so you would not run out of money on the utilities. So I kind of did that to you on purpose.
Well,
So-
and that's completely fine if it had been put into our line items in our current fund, but it got put into two new funds. So not even in our
It's
1219.
not two new funds. We have to do it like that. I even asked State Board of Accounts to see if I could move it to our fund. We cannot. So it's being paid out of 4929 under the utility line, and then the other one's getting paid out of the other fund, out of the repair and maintenance. So she's got that money there to use and no one else is using it, and that's hers. So like, it's not being used for any other repair, maintenance, or anything like that. It's solely for Jada's repair and maintenance and utilities.
So what we need to do actually, because we're, how many grand in the negative now?
Oh, you're like 6,000, so I mean, that has to be printed.
So if that money had been put where we could kind of get to it to pay insurance, we have a big insurance payment coming up, my salary, OASI. In our regular 1219, I can transfer it as needed without coming every month. But it's not in our 1219, so I can't transfer it,
Yeah,
and
because-
so we're just constantly going more into the negative because our utilities aren't getting paid out of
You
that.
can't do it like that, and I even talked to State Board of Accounts while they were here about this. And they said that the council would have to do something with your salary to put it into county gen or put it somewhere where it could be paid from, rainy day, wherever. Because I can't put money that they appropriated in capital projects into your fund. Like, that's where it's at. So if they want to say that your payroll can be paid out of this fund, then, I mean, that's the only really.
Or can we move the money then? So we can. Open.
Well, I mean, she has it in the capital projects and then the other one, but payroll, I mean, if you think county gen can stand that, then you would have to link her payroll in county gen.
Has the air conditioners been repaired,
Yes.
even the ones that had to have a crane and stuff?
Yes, so what we decided to do was to replace one complete unit that had been out for, I think we have 12 units total in the pavilion building. Before we got some of them fixed, we were running on like 4 of 12 in the whole building. And so, we had somebody come out, do a couple quick fixes for us and got a few of them running. And then we started doing regular maintenance on those, like replacing filters and stuff. And then 2 months ago, they replaced a whole unit. So that's what we ended up paying this year, the whole unit fixture, which was about,
How much is left in the maintenance?
I don't think that got paid before the 25,000 got put into that new maintenance fund and the new utilities fund. I think that was before that happened.
Can we take some of that out, put it in one of the funds where she can pay her payroll and stuff?
I know that last year, we had money did the same thing. We got through part of the year last year, had to come and request the money for the rest of the year, and it just got put into our 1219. So I don't know why we can't do that again,
Well,
just so we have enough to operate off of.
solely because State Board of Accounts told us that you have 25,000 in the 4929 fund for the parks repair and maintenance right now. That's your current.
But I can't pay anything else out of that. So it's just gonna sit there because I have other stuff that we have to pay before I can go fixing little things. So it has to be put to where I can actually use it for what we need
I mean,
for.
maybe the council can add something to that, repair, maintenance, professional services, whatever you may need.
Yeah.
Expensive.
This shouldn't be that big a deal.
We're making.
Yeah, like-
Can't do it.
Motion or be.
I'll make a motion that we, on the maintenance fund, we add to that where you can do payroll and other expenses out of it.
If that works, obviously I don't do our own payroll, so
Spend it up, we're done.
Or payroll line, get in
I'm not asking for more, I promise.
some of the 25,000 to that payroll.
I just need to have access to it.
And then in the other one she has.
And I will say, the fact that our regular fund that we're paying out everything out of keeps going into the negative, and I can't send off our finances for like we're getting some pretty big grants recently.
Sure.
And a lot of times they request a copy of our financials. I can't send it.
Yeah.
And so that takes away opportunities that I have.
Yeah.
On 26, I just have that. Yeah.
It'll be just either that one fund decision.
Well, I'll just create a payroll fund, or a payroll line item in 4929 for the parks manager. And then however much you tell me to transfer, the repair and maintenance. I'll transfer to the payroll.
Transfer high fund.
Okay.
Bill's made a motion. You got a comment first, working.
And I'll have to do it by.
I'll say it afterwards.
I mean, I want to hear it.
No, well, I'll wait till after. Oh, Bill made motion, yeah.
Yes, I'm used to it. Roy second that.
So we're just changing wording, basically.
Wording.
Now, what do I need to do something? Okay, so do I need to do something specific to make sure our, like the payroll and OASI are getting paid out of that new account and not our regular?
Thursday, we will have your line items for you, and then whenever you submit your payroll, you will put that new line item on there with the phone number, and then that's where Tristan will pull it from.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
We got we announced it publicly today, the press release went out, I think yesterday evening. But, we got a new $50,000 grant for, through the Being for Others Foundation. So I need a new fund created for that, so we can get that deposited.
Before, I wanna make a comment first. I asked this a couple months ago when this come up before. I know Soil and Water does it, Extension does it, they have a checkbook. When Soil and Water gets a grant, that money goes in that checkbook, and then when landowners come in and apply for I forget what those things are called, but when they apply for them, they cut them a check. 2 people have to sign it, president of the board and secretary. Why can't they do that? I've yet to get a good answer why they
That would
can't
be
do
really
that.
nice if they could do that.
Yes.
Why can't they?
Well, I will talk with State Board of Accounts on Thursday about that also.
I mean, I don't wanna upset Soil and Water.
Well, we do that on any.
Because, I mean, I don't understand why that money couldn't go in there, and then as they do it, they cut them a check. And as long as you got 2 people signing it, or.
I know, but I've been told that we can't do that,
And I
so.
understand why.
I will
Makes
try
no
to figure
sense to
out
me.
how and if we can do it, and I will tell.
That would
them
make everybody's life so much.
Yes.
Thing is.
That's.
That's the problem.
I don't know. See, that may be the difference.
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's my church.
that's just, we could start working to make us our own 501c3. I think that would save everybody a lot of headache to do it that way.
You with us.
You have to create.
Do what?
A contract with.
Memorandum of understanding.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yes.
There you go.
What'd he say?
Did it with the commissioners back when.
There was a contract 2 years ago.
Okay.
Jada, what was your other? Yeah.
The 1219.
That's another one.
I don't have to worry on the
That's okay.
top of my head.
Nope.
I know I have it in email.
I second it.
Roy seconded, all in favor?
Sorry, can you tell me first and second again?
Bill, sorry. I was second. 6.
So for now, like Angela mentioned, we have certain grants that the most effective and cost-effective way to get these things purchased for the fairgrounds, we're not gonna be able to get an invoice for them. And I know we've mentioned this before, so in the past, I have to buy things and get reimbursed. Thankfully, it's a double-edged sword. We're starting to get bigger grants in upwards of like $25,000. Do I need to continue to go buy those things and get reimbursed? Cause my board doesn't want me to do that. And I don't think.
$50,000 we're talking.
No, we can't, because commissioners and commissioners meeting about possibly getting her a credit card, but you should have to. I mean, that's something you could take to the commissioners. and see if they would give you, you know, access to get a credit card. But with that being said, no, I know you won't have no late penalties or anything, so I'm not worried.
So I just need to.
I would come to the commissioners meeting next month and talk to them about it. And, the highway department just done it, so you could probably get 60 on pound, we went about it and, you know, got it done.
And then before I forget, so we have the fund to put the 50,000 in for the paving. Can we go ahead and make the fund so I can spend it too, instead of me coming
Yes.
back next month? Can we
Yes.
vote on that? Cause I think.
I mean, we'll have to have an ordinance, but if you go ahead and tell me to create the fund and you guys will sign the ordinance, that is fine. We can do that. With that being said, I need to know, what can this $50,000 be used for? I see an example where it says payroll, but I need to know specifically what it can be used for.
The 50,000 for the grant or the 50,000?
This one that you spent.
The being,
now.
the being for others, $50,000? That's for the paving of our walking path.
Okay, that's the only thing it can be used for?
Yes.
Okay, so this example on here was just.
So I'll make a
Or I
motion
don't know what it, I didn't send
that
anything,
we created a fund.
I'll second.
but it's not just the fund, it's the,
Spending.
yes,
And
the depositing and the spending.
spend out.
I wanna make sure we have both of those clear.
And can you tell me what line items you would like? Can you email that to me? Like, is it just gonna be a paving repair line or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Only the one thing.
Cause I'm assuming those grants have to be used in a certain time frame, correct?
They, almost all of them do. That's why we're trying to figure out the best way to continue with me spending them. That one has like it's a year, so it'll be next August. The MFA oil one, that the first grant we ever got, we got that back in October. It doesn't have a deadline on it. We are supposed to report whenever the project is finished though. And I'd really like to send it to them before a year is out. So we just define a clear path forward for that. So we'll talk with the commissioner and get that situated. But you guys have anything else you need from me?
You got it.
Yeah, I've done, and then the payroll, the ordinance, I mean, with the FICA.
Yeah.
And
Can we add something for insurance as well? Cause we have an insurance payment coming up. And we'll have to pay that we were planning on paying that with the 50,000 as well,
I could
but
probably create a line item where your utilities is, because I know you haven't spent $25,000 in utilities.
Sure.
And I can just do it like that to get paid what you need paid.
okay.
Your motion and second, any questions or comments? All in favor?
You want a motion to add the insurance to the utility?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Bill makes a motion to add. Larry, Lucas seconds that. Any questions, comments? All right, all in favor? 6-7.
You should be good for another week.
Try to get you out of the hole.
Fine, we have not overspent anything. Just want to be clear. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Jaden.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
We will provide you with all your fund numbers and line items that Thursday.
You got it.
I have Eric Bud.
Everybody.
Hey guys, I've actually got a few things here real quick. First thing I've got is, the repairs and replacement of my gutters on the YSP building. Half of one side's hanging down, the other side's starting to fall. I've had 2 quotes, the commissioners approved a quote from Summer Seamless Guttering in the amount of $4,356.44. I do not have that in my repair and maintenance budget to cover that, so I am needing some funds to cover that.
We just wear and tear.
Where they was already, some of them was already coming loose, and it started during the ice storm, and it slowly got worse through all the storms, and I've been trying to get them replaced. I've literally been trying for 4 months to get quotes. Everybody's been busy.
Yeah.
So I did have 2 quotes. I had 2 other companies I reached out to and wouldn't even respond back, so I did have 2 quotes This was to lower the amount,
What was that figure?
4,356.44.
How much?
4,000.
4,000? Oh, my goodness. So good.
That covers each side's 101 foot,
That's what I was wondering.
Oh,
How much?
101 foot
Okay,
each side.
that makes more sense.
And that also includes, money to add the, snow ice cars
I
on
was
the book.
wondering about that.
And this does come with it's a 20-year warranty on the materials with a 5-year no workmanship warranty as well.
Who's that for?
Summer seamless out of Louise. The other quote I had was local and it was over $5,000
Okay.
and it come with no warranty.
Who's the capital project? Which one?
Yeah, I'd say,
Capital project.
capital project.
What's the number on that? Anybody know?
49.
49, 29?
49. 49.
I see that. 49, 29.
That's just like really low.
Yeah, that's river boat capital.
Let's do it.
That's.
No, it's a bridge.
I was looking at
I think it's.
Okay. It's 40. Yeah,
It's 49, 29?
yeah,
All right, you guys want to pay it out there?
yeah, that's fine.
Make a motion to pay 43.56.24 out of 49.29.
I'll second that, 43.56.54. Okay, and you got a second, is that you, Troy? Yeah. All in favor?
Second thing I have is our multi-hazard mitigation plan is in progress. That has to be renewed every 5 years with FEMA and the state. That is a plan that has to be approved by FEMA before it's in final stages. That we've had a couple meetings. The cost, it is a grant cost, but we have to pay it up front for reimbursement. So that grant cost is $24,304.
How much?
24,304. Originally, we have a 25% in-kind match with that, but that in-kind match comes from the same as like having these meetings, this conversation here. Gets counted as that as well to help meet that in-kind match. Because this year, our in-kind match is a little over $8,000. So. But when that plan gets updated, it should be updated right about the end of the year and have it set for the next 5 years.
Is that in your budget?
No, because we never know what that amount's gonna be, because it depends on, because the state applies for a grant, and then they divide it, whichever county is in that 5-year rotation, they divide it up between them, and that's what it costs us, so.
But that's gonna get reimbursed, is that what you're saying?
But the 25% is.
It's all in-kind match, my hours, your guys' hours. Everybody from the towns, corporations that come in, their hours get counted to meet that match.
Okay. Okay.
Aaron, did you already get your gutter replaced?
No,
I just had Bob Lee's company mine, 180 feet, 4 downspouts. 6-inch seamless gutter for $2,032.
Sounds more like it.
You can check that out, you know how much money we got.
Yeah, we can get it.
Save us this money, that's what we need.
Yeah.
that's who,
Bob Lee,
Bob Lee.
yep, I'm just out there. I'll give you his personal number if you.
I'll send it to
Thank you, Nick. Need all the help we can get.
So I think we were just taking it.
I looked down here, $1,800.
24, yeah. And we always make this one get reimbursed back in there.
We would have something out of it.
Yeah, I'm getting old, same.
Yeah, 49.29.
But I'm sure it goes back in there.
We would go back in, how long would it go back to?
How long would it be before you got reimbursed?
Once they complete the whole plan is approved by FEMA.
Okay, so a couple months.
2, 3 months, 6 months, who knows?
Good.
Once we
Probably
get
for
the
the end
plan,
of the year,
once we get the plan completed and everything already changed and updated, it all has to go for FEMA for their approval and however long they take to approve it, send it back, say, oh yeah, this is it, or no, we want to, we want you to make these changes, we may have to.
I make a motion, we pull that 24,034.
304.
24,304 out of 49.29. With that it gets put back in there when the reimburse comes in.
We have a motion, is there a second? Second. Lucas seconds, all in favor? 6-0. What else you got?
The last thing I got, guys, is we, I shoot the messenger and it's becoming hard. Our repeater system is slowly failing. As anybody here can attest, the VHF repeater system has been going down for some time. It's 13, 14, 15 years old. We've been band-aiding some of the outer repeater sites over time. We spent a few $1,000s this year already on the Marengo site. I'm now having everything checked out. Gilmore site's down, Carefree site's down. The main site, which controls everything, is at 40% operating capacity right now, and there's no way it can be fixed.
That our sirens?
That's what controls our sirens and all of our pages for fire and EMS.
Is that why English just didn't go off?
That's why we're having to hit and miss, because it's a 100-watt system and then you're only putting out 40 watts. Everything's coming from this English side, and when it's not putting out the 40 watts, it's not getting there. So.
So what are you looking at? Is there grants or anything to help on that?
Nope,
or-
the only thing grants will do is if it's a 800 system that works in and operates with the state, and this is a VHF system, not an 800 megahertz system.
So
So,
what kind of money are we looking at?
I've got 2 proposals, the commissioners, approved, pending your guys' funding for advanced communication going to the full voter system. That price is $212,231.
Not as bad as I expected.
And that's fixing and upgrading all 4 sites, putting a microwave system on them, and so they all can communicate. The price I have for Motorola is just shy of $500,000.
How quick are you, can you wait till after the first or the new year, or we can get it in your budget for
We're at
next year?
40%, guys. We're at 40% capacity, and this is something we're gonna need to move and get in, and before we
How,
get
what kind of lead time are we looking at, you know?
stuff to be, most time on this, stuff to be in, and we've been sitting here within a month and a half.
Okay.
I know you said this is for the total system upgrade. Has Advanced, have they give you any options like, here's what's gonna take to get the English main station?
The problem is if we update the English station, we're gonna lose the other sites.
Yeah,
There's
because
no way
it's gonna be on a different-
Without updating everything.
How many stations is there?
4.
You have a list of what radios it's compatible with? You've already signed that.
I was gonna say, will that cover all the volunteer fire departments?
No limits, it's analog system, it does not kick any radios out, not like Harrison County did. The system.
So
Harrison
these
County-
guys aren't gonna have to upgrade if you upgrade.
Harrison County put a system in, and it was a Kenwood system, they went digital. So if you have a Motorola radio or a Harris or a tape, it will not talk to them, and you can only buy a Kenwood radio and talk to their system.
So this.
That does not do that.
This is
Okay.
analog, you're saying?
Yes.
Oh.
49.29.
Yeah.
I guess we're working that out.
Oh, let's take it out of 49.29. I'll make a motion. 212, 231
I'll second.
for advanced communications.
Bill's made motion, who said, Chad, or Sean seconded, any comments, questions? All in favor?
Now you're good for another week.
You're done.
You're done, right?
I
You should come in here at 4,000. I thought, well, that's not bad. It just kept going.
Why I started low.
Hey, you did it right.
And I know me and you had talked, I don't know if you talked to anybody else about the building itself. You
Yeah,
had talked
that's-
about the little building that's up there on our property where the tower's at. It's,
That is gonna have to be at some point.
I suggested to him, of course, this is commissioners, not council, but, if it could be metal sided, that this, just to get it through, cause it's just got that wood.
Yeah, it's OT 111 siding, and literally we had an electrical box come off the side of it like a month ago. And when I went to put it back up, I pushed it through the wood because it's rotting,
Oh.
so. It's back.
Is this equipment going in that thing?
Yeah. It's a little, it's always been there.
And Troy, I had quotes originally 2 years ago to replace that building with a block type building. And there was $50,000 to put it as a block building. We checked into like those mobile type buildings like Verizon, T-Mobile and them uses. And they were like 90,000 put one in.
What size is it?
The building size needs to be roughly like 12 by 16 or 10 by 12. 10 by 12 or something.
What's,
12, they wanted $50,000.
Yeah, for a block building, here, yeah.
So even if you did like a patchwork, like you're talking, is it?
Right now, it's a wooden shed that we built at the school.
That's what I say, is
And it's
it
got-
feasible to even, as it structurally sound?
Yeah, I think I think
It may be, I
the
mean,
inside is okay, it's just the outside.
That's what I'm saying, the structurally, still the
Yeah, I
structure.
just think that, I had another agency that I seen use I think it was a Hilux box van or something like that, but it was a trailer, and, and they used that as a structure, air conditioning.
Yeah, that's what-
it has to be different.
I'm saying this particular.
That's what I was thinking, well, we're coming like.
There's
Pod,
an
like a pod.
yeah, there's an air conditioner about year round.
I got it, okay, keep the regulate the.
If the commissioners is okay with it, get us the price on Saturday.
But I wanna keep the shed or done with it.
You wanna keep the shed or we get rid of it?
We got Dan, sorry. Okay.
And a shed's another option, but it's, you're gonna get 10, 15, 20 years maybe. And
Probably moving the stuff out of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I think was metal and that's for.
All right. All right, we'll work on that tonight.
the only thing else I'm gonna say, guys, is before anybody leaves here tonight, make sure you sign in because that's those in-kind hours match, so we don't have to cost us out of our in-kind hours.
Does the volunteer fireman count for that too?
Everybody in this room counts.
Won't you pass it around?
We'll do.
Let you know after you do it.
Huh?
I'll let you know after the meeting.
That's my.
Yes.
That's my, still much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Aaron.
Got it.
What's it there? Make decisions here and those kinds of control. Before you want to start.
Oh, just.
Okay, we'll go with the issue. Before we headed this, I had a line item in the budget last year and it zeroed out, so I don't have any pay for this. But anyway, we had an emergency situation in English back a few weeks ago and no one was responding and I was getting call after call after call. But it was consensus of the listeners that it was an emergency, also I called them an emergency situation. These dogs were biting people and people couldn't come out of their house. So that's part of it. And then Sean, you picked up some dogs.
I didn't pick them up.
Well, I mean,
Nobody told me that.
I mean, but, so,
It was part of that same group, somehow migrated up on the.
okay, yeah, but anyway, most of that, all except for, most of this was the English episode and there was a couple other, there was a cat bite that Tri-State is working with the health department, to give us quarantine on that, so anyway.
That's the 2350.
Yes, yeah, and what we're doing, we're in the process of trying to work out a contract with these people, and they're pretty good. What I see.
Okay, yeah, I see them quite a bit of, yeah.
Other counties use them, and so I think, this is not a base operation.
No, it's cheaper to do this than the alternative.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Would we have a?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I think question, with motion.
I'm getting ready to make a motion to pay this. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds all right to me.
Hey, Bill, she said she had to do an additional list, and she found out.
So I'll make a motion that we do additional and out of the county jail.
Do that.
All right.
And the seconds, all in favor? Six, seven.
On that, you know, this is started 25 years ago. I mean, I can remember being in the courtroom at the old courthouse, and there was a proposal at that time for animal control, and the gentleman was kind of contracting. Excuse me, guys, we're in a meeting here. I don't know if you noticed, just double checking. And this has been a countywide issue for a long time.
It has.
And it's a very expensive thing, and we just got a bill from this same entity. We can't afford animal control, no, we know that, but we gotta do something. We're gonna have to, if it's create a levy or whatever for animal control, we've gotta work towards something. We can't just sit there and say for 20 years, well, we don't have animal control, because that's our fault, we didn't try.
Well, you know, we had a good situation in Harrison County for several years, and it was out of the goodness of their heart that they worked with us, and it was reasonable. And it got to the point where they couldn't handle their end of, their animal population.
Yeah.
But I've contacted every county around here, and, just, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, you know, I think a figure come up with Harrison County looks like, for them to start off, it was almost $750,000.
Oh, yeah. I could have made the motion in the past.
The commercial building.
I know how fast we need to pay the bill.
Commercial building like that with all the plumbing and all the specs you have to come up with would be several. It'd probably be $750,000. And then you gotta man it once you get that built.
I've talked with this gentleman because I've had the contract with him for Marengo on a dog we just had picked up this week. And he's got some suggestions, and I would like for him to actually come down to, and he would, you know. I'd like him to come up with something. Because he suggested, you know, maybe the fact that if we had a part-time person here, and I know that a couple of the other towns are working with them also. But, you know, over the years, we've talked about, if we, and this is what I kind of talked with him also, if we had a place, Jaden, I'm thinking of like the little small building, you know, down, I don't know, are you using that for anything but parking the tractor?
It's full.
It's full, okay, but something similar to that. It needs to be someplace that can hold a dog. I can think of so many times, I think I've seen the sheriff walk in there, you know, where we've had traffic accidents and we've had to hold a dog. There was a arrest I helped out here the other day, had a dog in the car. There's times where we have to hold a dog, and if we had a holding pen, that was suitable.
Well,
There's plenty of volunteers around here.
I had worked on that a couple of years ago, well, it's been long, that's probably been 7 or 8 years ago, and it just didn't materialize. You know, Cox done that at one time here, and it was trying to set up something in that neighborhood, but it didn't materialize.
Yeah.
But we're in the process of negotiating Tri-County, and we're gonna try to come up with some kind of plan. We might implement a situation Put the tankers to, I don't know that it's gonna work out, but everything's on the table, but we're working.
I don't think there's a, you know, we've, you know, got this discussion going on with wheel taxes and lit taxes and all these other taxes, and there's. I mean, Milltown has got, dog tax, you know, we have dog tax, we still do, actually, the county has dog tax. You know, the trustees.
Taken care of tonight.
Huh?
Let's deal with what we gotta do.
I know, but what I'm saying is this is something we gotta deal with. Okay, so I want this on people's mind, that I'm gonna be coming to this council. And I'm gonna suggest we're gonna move towards it. So, that's it, Bill. Done.
Thank you. But Gerald, do you have something else?
Yeah, I had the maintenance issue, you know, like we just talked about that grease trap out there.
Yeah, I can't make you no motion on that.
Okay, but anyway, what I did, I called around and got some proposals on them traps, or the repair. Actually, we didn't know whether we were gonna have to replace it. It's 2,000 gallon, 2-piece tank. And we didn't know whether we'd have to replace it, but what we did, we wanted to either replace it if we need be, or just repair it. Well, I got the proposals back, and Chuck was the cheapest, and done a good job, and Duncan actually worked there with that, so too. And I had to contact Messenger. He repaired it, yeah, but I contacted Messenger and Nick over in Harrison. So
I can't do this, somebody else needs to.
but yeah, this is,
Where was this at?
this, it was the grease trap that the kitchen, you know, in the jail, that goes into this thing, it's by statute, by law, code. Catch the grease and then it's pumped out periodically. But what happens, they put those tanks together, 2 pieces, they kind of glue them together. And what happened, there's so much groundwater pressure out of all this rain, I think that's what caused it to start separating a little bit at the seam. So he went down there and repaired that, and he kind of diverted the water that was filtrating that thing away from the trap. Did a good job.
Hey,
So,
let's do a resolution. Lindsay says she can do a resolution on builder maintenance, take care of this and some other issues she's got,
Okay.
and we'll take care of it.
Okay. folks, this facility was built in 2004. And it's getting to the point where everything's beginning to need maintenance and everything failing. We went through the situation with the rooftop units, which we've got most of them replaced, but there's an ongoing cost to that situation. And I'm feeling sorry for her. She's got a bunch of units sitting out there, getting ready to wear out. They're wore out now.
So you need a resolution?
Yeah, she was saying with some other issues that got going, she was asking for 10,000 into a maintenance and fund where she can take care of repairs.
It's like April was just here the other day, so we're gonna be getting an invoice.
Or do you wanna get that from?
I just can do an additional in county gen for building maintenance, is that
All right.
okay?
I'll make a motion on that.
Okay.
I don't think you.
I'll
make a motion. We need
There you
to.
go.
Thank you.
Got it. Troy made it. Lucas seconded it. All in favor?
I need to.
5 and 1 abstain.
that's right.
Well, listen, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Mr. Darrell Smith, Senator,
I'm good.
I'm glad you came tonight. Would you like to say something?
Absolutely. I apologize, I'm late. I don't know, you guys had some serious storms. The last 15 miles, I came on back roads because there was trees all over the highway.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. I can't.
We needed the ramp.
Well, no, they were on the back roads too. I had to hold one off the back road, once when I went right off in the ditch. Anyway, may I approach? I've got some stuff for you guys. And then I'll, introduce myself a little bit.
I know you're busy, I'm sorry.
No, this is all good. I apologize, I'm late, but I was up at Fort Wayne. Where's the rest of them? Here we go. I was up at let me just kind of, Fort Wayne, I just rolled in and I didn't actually have time to sort all this stuff out. So let's see.
I don't know if I really expect you to invite me to that hearing, but I thank you. I enjoy coming to your office to look around.
Okay, yeah, here's another one.
Okay.
Okay, so what I got, these are all just papers that we're gonna help, help you guys understand the changes that are going on with Senate Bill 1. There, and a couple more.
Here's nice.
If you're live streaming and everybody's looking at my back. So I did.
I don't know. Somebody else is on.
All right. And this last one, some of you guys might have already. If not, it's the latest revenue. This will be in a simpler form.
Yeah, I looked at that on the, thank you for sending that out.
Okay, yeah, if you got the electronic version, this is the one. Alright. I know some of the faces in here and a lot of you guys go through that I don't know, so I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Pike County on a farm, went to college, and started working for UPS for a number of years in different roles with the company. And back in 1992, my mom died of breast cancer when she just turned 50. So at that time, I was working for Clarksville at UPS, and then I met a gal. We decided we were going to quit our jobs, get married, move back home, start farming, and raise a family. We've been doing that ever since. And then a couple of years ago, there was an opening. I live a quarter mile from where I grew up with my parents, but we're in DuBois County, so I got on the DuBois County Council. I had, you thought about it, you pay attention, you're on the side, and we worked so hard to just pay down debt and raise a family, and I didn't get involved. When I decided it was time to put up or shut up, I didn't like a lot of the things going on, so I thought, you know what, let's just participate. So I was on the county council a couple of years. Then last fall, Mark Mesmer became our congressman. And so there was an opening in District 48 for the state senate. I said, why not me? You know what I mean? They need, we need people involved at the local level that understand it, that put on their work boots and go to work and figure out what's going on. So I ended up fortunate enough to get elected. So I just made my first session. So I've almost made it a year at the state senate. So there's a ton of changes going on. So I've been going around to all different county council, town council meetings. So I was gonna come to the July meeting, but that one didn't happen. So happy to be here, and I wanna, I guess, give you guys an overall philosophical view of what's happening and why it's happening. And then this is also for me to listen. Most of the things that we're talking about won't take effect until 2028. That's not accidental. It gives us time, if there's unintended consequences, that we can react to fix what's going on. So basically, I don't know where I should stand, but basically, and a lot of this stuff started way before I am. In Indiana, we have what they call a biennial budget. Okay, so we just finished the long session. It started in January. I went up Sunday night, got back Thursday night, 4 days a week from the 8th of January through the end of April. Thank goodness I had a good wife and son and some other guys that are helping, on the farm to keep running. But anyway, so this was a long session till almost the end of April. We crafted a 2-year budget. So then this coming year, it's a short session, so there is no budget. So anyway, as you guys all know, we have one of the most complex property tax systems in the country that nobody understands. So in 2020, and with inflation and things, the assessed values are going up and everybody's property taxes are going through the roof. So in right after the 2023 session, which was the previous budget's on the odd year long session, they decided to create study committees. So they've been working for 2 years trying to come up with solutions for us that accomplish 3 things. Basically, driving decisions to the local level, empower us as local governments to make decisions, because we can probably make better decisions for ourselves than somebody in Washington, DC, or in Indianapolis. So driving decisions local. Then it was also increasing transparency of our system that we don't understand, and simplifying what's going on. So like I got up there this spring and started learning, so I've learned a ton, but I don't claim to have everything figured out there. That's the whole overall goal. It's like a 7-year plan, basically, to go from a levy-based system to a rate-based system, okay? Right now, and I'll try to explain a lot of the things, and then there's questions, we'll talk about it, but you hear rumors that, that everybody's gonna lose, people, elderly and veterans are gonna lose their benefits, they're losing their deductions. Okay, well, it's true, but when the deductions go away, it's gonna go straight to a direct creditor. Okay, so it'll actually be a net gain, in tax savings, but instead of going through 20 different calculations to try to figure out that you're saving $40, it's gonna go to where it'll be a credit. Okay, so let's say you've got a house or a piece of property and what it says for $60,000. Okay, so your home's worth $60,000. When we get, and then I've got some extras that I can give to other people if you're interested when we get done. But the small one here, this small one that I gave you guys, that shows all changes basically in Senate Bill 1. And if you flip it open in the first page, it'll explain when we go from now to year 7. By the time we get to year 7, if your home's worth 60,000, your assessed valuation, what it's valued at, from the assessors, which that's another animal we're working on tackling, to make that more uniform, and equitable, fair, so say it's 60,000. The 1% cap people, that's our residences. That's 60,000 of assessed valuation. 2/3 of that will basically become a deduction. Okay, so $40,000 of that will be a deduction. So once the tax rate's figured, you'll pay property taxes on 1/3 of the assessed value of your home. Okay. The 2% cap people, which that is apartment buildings, land, those, if that assessed valuation's worth $60,000, you'll get a 1/3 deduction, if you're in the 2% cap. So 20,000 comes off, you'll pay the assessed value of 40,000 times your tax rate. Okay, the 3%, which are businesses, corporations, they'll pay taxes on the full 60,000. Okay, you'll hear a lot of concern. The deductions are going away, or for businesses, the business personal property tax is gonna go away, it's gonna affect our income, okay? Few bumps in the road, but when we get to year 7, like for the businesses, they'll be paying it on the full total assessed value. So to keep everything without shifting revenue from one class to the other, there was no intent to shift where the burden, goes. That was not the intent, or shifted from what kind of taxes we're getting. There was a clamoring for reduction in property taxes. We're all getting hammered on taxes, okay? So that was the basis of it, to reduce taxes, property taxes specifically is what everybody wanted. But we had to end up finding a balance, because property taxes are all collected locally by us. We all pay the property taxes. The property taxes all stay at the local level. Okay, right? And I don't exactly know the percentages here, but like, I know my property taxes, 2/3 of it go to the schools, okay? Then the other 1/3 of the property taxes go to your libraries, townships, local county governments, okay? So there was a reduction there a little bit. The goal is for all of us to look internally, if we can find efficiencies, certain units run and certain counties run leaner than others. Out here in the country, we've trimmed the fat quite a bit already, you know what I mean? Other places, not so much, so it was a trick finding a balance, right? Because the state's totally different on things. But, so the goal is to look at that, to find ways that we can be more efficient. But if we need to then, to balance the gaps out, the local income tax that we have now will be modified a little bit, but we will still have that to utilize. The goal is to have it where it's more transparent, we see what it is. You're gonna hear about, did you guys end up talking about wheel tax down here at that meeting?
We got a hearing coming up.
You got a hearing coming up? Okay. So one of the biggest ways that as local governments, we've been able to fund roads and things as community crossing matching grants coming out of the state, okay? You know, if we're 50,000 population or less in the counties, which we all are, I represent, I guess I didn't say that, but I represent Gibson, Pike, DuBois, Spencer, Perry, Crawford counties from west to east. So those 6 counties, we're all under the 50,000 population. That actually now, after this session, went to 55,000. But if your county had more than 50,000 people, you would, if you wanted a community crossings grant, you had to come up with 50% match, and then the state would come up with the other 50%. Rural, smaller counties, we would have to come up with 25% match, and then they would match 75%. And that's how we've been doing a lot of things over the last number of years, okay? That percent that we pay actually is going down from 25% to 20%, okay? But one of the stipulation is they wanted local involvement, local skin in the game. A lot of communities have a wheel tax already, okay? Some didn't. If you choose not to do a wheel tax, there's a smaller piece of pie that you can participate in for community crossings grants. But if you're showing that you're participating and utilizing the wheel tax, then you've got a bigger pie that you're gonna be able to pull from, okay? So, and I look at it, it's actually a good thing as we drive all these decisions to the local level, okay? If we have, there's no intent of raising taxes, but if people have been paying attention, you guys have, over the last number of years, the state has been reducing the amount of income tax that we pay to the state every year. Okay, that percentage is shrinking. So if that's shrinking and we utilize the income tax here locally, you know, even if we raise the local income tax here, but it's lower at the state, it's really not it's not an increase in taxes. We're just shifting where it's collected. You know, instead of collecting at the state and let the state inefficiently spend it, we collect it here locally and then we administer it locally. And the idea is to do a better job. Okay. And this all comes to the simplicity and the transparent piece. Just like with the wheel tax, you guys will have, on cars, it's anywhere from $25 to $50. So the flexibility that these guys will have to do, semis, RVs, buses, bigger vehicles, I think over 9,000 GVW will be $40 to $80 range, okay? So that gives you the flexibility. If you guys are needing money for roads and you decide to utilize the road tax or the wheel tax, excise tax for cars, wheel tax for, just so we're clear, wheel tax for the bigger vehicles. But if you guys, if everybody out here is saying we need more roads, we gotta fix this and we have to fix that, then they have the flexibility to raise the wheel tax up a little bit. And we're gonna know, okay, exactly, here's what we're gonna do with it. Or conversely, if you guys have a max wheel tax and people are coming in saying, we want that lower, well, then you're gonna be able to say, okay, that's fine, we'll do that. That's what the people wish. We're gonna lower the wheel tax some, but instead of paving 22 miles of road or rocking 20 miles of road, we might do 10 or 12, and you have to make that determination of pushing those costs down. So it's gonna let us make those decisions. These are all tools and things that we can use to make better decisions, okay? Any questions on that?
The amount for saying one, what did you say?
Single vehicles, $25 to $50 possibly.
I thought I would maybe $7.50.
Well, you guys will ultimately determine all that, okay? Yes, sir.
But the Amish, they got a tax payment.
You know, that's a good question. On a wheel tax, you mean?
Yeah, they pay a buggy tax, so county got a levy a buggy tax, I think up to $150.
Is that right?
Orange County less of it, like $110 or $100.
And that's similar to like the electric vehicles and stuff that aren't paying gas tax, they will pay something like that, or is it more just like an extra?
The buggy tax, they pay it literally on their buggy, so.
For utilizing the road.
One buggy, they pay one buggy tax.
Okay, I did not realize that. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our answer. So that's a possibility. Okay, so. There's a lot of changes that are going on right now, but the big picture is, you know, there's gonna be some bumps in the road till we get to year 7, okay? And we might as well talk, I've never seen a crowd like this at a county council meeting, not even one person in there maybe. But I'm glad you guys are here, and I see a lot of people have yellow shirts on, or fluorescent, okay? There is no intention, and we can get into details, but there's no intention, as this stuff gets changed over, to cut funding for fire departments, okay? When I was on the Du Bois County Council, I said, you know, the people from there, you know, from Schnellville to, you know, all over the county, they were feeling the pinch, you know, and you can only fry, you know, barbecue so much chicken. You guys do a great job barbecuing chicken. I had some Ireland chicken on Sunday, and I say it's super good, but anyway, so there's gonna be some changes and there's some tweaks, and so as we kind of go through this and I explain what it is, if you guys have time, I want input from you guys and from everybody, because most of all these things that we're talking about don't take effect until 2028. Okay, so we've got the 26th session and the 2027 session to fix any unintended consequences. Okay, how about that? It's a nice way to put it. Yes.
So, on the wheel tax, okay, excise tax is paid when you go to license branch.
That's right.
And register the vehicle. So the wheel tax is gonna be included in that?
Well, that'll basically be the same thing. The excise tax you pay on cars.
Yeah.
Will be there. And that's gonna stay. There won't be a wheel tax on cars.
I understand that, but you're just saying, take the county council is gonna vote whether to have it, let's just say for regular sedan, automobile, gas fired, a $25 wheel tax for all 4 wheels.
Okay, no, that would be, it's per vehicle.
Yeah.
Excise taxes for passenger cars and everything under 9,000 GVW, I think.
See, this, okay, semi drivers, and old trucking companies, truckers. When they go register their vehicles. And the DOT certified and all that, they do that. All 18 of those wheels are taxed, and paid there, aren't they? No.
Yeah, it's not, think of it as a license plate.
Yeah.
All you're paying, this is let's call it road permit,
Yeah.
okay? It has nothing to do with wheels, tires, or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's per vehicle, that's what it is. So it don't matter if you got 86 wheels. You could pay $5.
You're gonna pay an extra tax per vehicle you own. To cover the cost of the
And that will be
roads.
posted with the license.
That's the idea where it's basically your.
When will it get collected? If you come to the county, see who pay it, or who do you pay it through?
It goes through the license branch.
Yeah,
is what
it'll
it
be
is.
just like your excise
Yeah.
tax.
So when
Even on your registration.
when you pay the registration annually, every 7 days, somebody's plates are due, 7, 14,
Oh, yeah.
21st, and
Yeah.
28th.
Yeah.
On the 21st of every month, the state will cut a check to the auditor for the amount of Crawford County plated vehicles if we decide to adopt it.
See, that's where the scary part was coming in, a lot of the
Yeah.
residents were getting scared, because they heard on his roof.
That's why.
And so, now that everybody in the fire department, is you're gonna think, our fire trucks all have you registered too.
They're exempt. Yeah.
So,
School buses are exempt, ambulances are exempt, but we can discuss that at the 28th meeting.
That's all out there.
Yeah.
26.
26th.
Well, we do have a question.
Shoot.
Okay, so I'm the one who does most with the deductions on, and credits that are gonna be on the households and stuff. So I'm looking at, your word here, additional stackable credits. So when you say stackable, in your other form, in your other folder, it's kind of confusing. The wording of it is confusing. So if I have a senior citizen come in who's over 65 and, their wife is also over 65, do they get 2 of those credits?
Which one are you talking?
Like the over 65 credit. So I know currently right now for the veterans deduction, if 2 veterans have, are both disabled, they can get double the deduction, so it's 38,960 if they're totally disabled, so they can get 38,960 times 2. So is that what stackable means?
I think stackable in that is where like if you were over 65 plus veteran, things like that. I don't exactly know. So I'm gonna have to go back with you on that one.
Daryl, our attorney on the board of directors that I'm on, he said that there's gonna be like a 300 credit to everybody on the property tax. And then if you were disabled, there was another credit. And then if you were, what's the third one? There's 3 veterans.
So there's,
Minor disabled, over 65, dead veterans.
There's 3 of them that will have to, the auditors will have to.
yeah, so, and the other question, this is just me telling you, just to tell you. And it's kind of ask the question, why is it during any US wars? Because I have people come in all the time who were during a peacetime. And so they don't qualify for the veterans deduction, because even though they were in the military, it was during a peacetime, so they don't qualify for it then. So I just don't like the wording of that, and I was wondering why, or if you had a reason why that was.
I wasn't involved in that. I don't really have a good reason for it. I guess they had a lot of this comes down to economics too, and I don't know really.
I mean, it's a very small group of people, because the United States is pretty much always in a war, but at the same time, I still have people.
Yeah, I know.
Who, when they come in, they're angry, they're like, I was a veteran, and I get that, but they may have 10%, but because of that being in peacetime, they don't get the total disabled. So.
That'll be something else we'll have to continue.
Okay, so what's our timeline? That we would need to have that tax in place if that was gonna happen.
The wheel tax?
Yeah. If it's not really gonna hit us till 20 or 28. Are we looking 27?
I'm gonna have to get back with you on the deadline on that one. I don't know when that has to be, it has to be administered. I don't know the cutoff date. That's
That's what Ron said, Ron Graham.
what do you say?
He said, we need to look at it at the end of 27.
Okay, that's when it's, okay.
And
there you go.
the third one was disability. A credit for each one of 300, and over 65, another credit, and a third credit for disability. And you're eligible for all 3.
But that's not what that says here. It says 150 for senior citizens, 125 for disabled, 150 for veterans, partial, and then 250 for total. So those are different numbers.
If you,
Well, I'll
if you're available 26, we'd love to have you for our,
I'm gonna be here more than 26. I'll be here as much as you asked me to. I'll give everybody my cell phone.
We need to talk about
Yeah.
tax.
We've got a lot of stuff. This is the beginning, right?
Right.
I didn't get into this job because this was gonna be an easy job. If I wanted easy, I'd stay at home and, drink beer. Right, just kept farming. So this is a start, and the reason we're doing this is to try to make sure we don't have any unintended consequences.
Sure.
But, so 40 cents is what comes out, is the limit on property taxes. Is that where you guys are setting with fire departments now, or what is for the fire districts?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I don't know what that is either, but anyway, so the whole idea and the goal is here, that there'll be a limit up to 40 cents on the property taxes, and we'll go to you guys with fire district, because you have 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then also, there's some confusion when you hear that public safety taxes are gonna go away. Well, technically, yes, on December 31st of 2027, the way we see everything now will go away. In 2028, it will be changed, right? Because municipalities that have over 7,000 people will have the opportunity to create their own local income tax. Okay, so county, which that doesn't affect us, here, but so there's gonna be a changeover, and the idea for that is to break it out to more individualized units, so you can efficiently manage, where there's larger towns are separated from the county, but you guys are all in the county, okay? So right now, I think you guys are 1.65 on total, okay? There will be a max in 2028 of 2.9%. So there will be flexibility there if everybody's passionate in this room that there's something being underfunded, whether it's your police or whether it's your fire, that will be you guys' choice to take care of that.
When the county has their safety tax structure at the moment, the fire department, as far as I'm moving, zero.
I don't, is that the way that is here?
They do.
They get the certified shares.
That's what I was gonna say, I thought there was some certified shares there, yeah.
Okay. And I think it's look.
Yeah, but you guys are collecting that here locally, right? Those certified shares, so. Yeah. So the certified shares that you guys that they're getting, that's part of the safety tax, right? This would be coming from us locally?
Part of the safety tax.
Okay.
The state sends us,
It's almost saying this.
they get the same amount every.
Do they already implement the safety tax?
Fire district, we get, yeah, her district.
So now you guys that are in here, are all of you fire districts or are there also
All fire district.
so everything in Crawford, you guys are all in a fire district? Okay. Separate fire, yes, sir, yes, sir. Then you guys are getting part of that, and we'll work on the details. We're not gonna argue where they're coming from or whatever. I've got to do a little more research, but I think some of that, and if it's not now,
We'll be looking at that, yeah.
yes, and if it's not now, there will be an opportunity for you guys to do that. But that's, that's where if everybody's clamoring for it, these guys are gonna be happy to create that to solve the problems that we have. And if everybody's, then that's, you guys have to decide how much, or what, but that's actually the part that I like about this, I still act like I'm a local government because that's why I went up there. I love doing what I was doing. Everybody in this building really is here for a reason because you have a servant's heart. You wouldn't be on the fire department, you wouldn't be sitting there, you wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't care about your community and what you're doing, because you're damn sure not doing it for the pay. Nobody is, so I'm the same way, so whenever that position came open, I was like, well, where can I advocate for local government better? Continuing to stay there or go to the state? And I chose, obviously, this is what I chose, to go up there and try to help and untangle the system. There's a lot of good people in Indianapolis working in a lot of our bureaucracies, but our system needs a lot of help. Okay, the system itself needs some help. So anyway, so that's why I'm here. But the whole goal of this is, it's gonna give you guys flexibility. If you guys are needing more help as fire departments, you're gonna have the ability to do that here. The tools and the things that we're doing should actually make that better. That's why I try to tell everybody, this is not, we should want this. You don't want Big Brother from the state collecting the money and telling you exactly where you're gonna spend it. There was the property tax is collected locally, kept locally. They stuck their nose in at the state a little bit. For the simple reason, right now, there's $54 billion worth of debt being held at the local level. Okay? Indiana has a AAA credit rating. We want to continue, as a state, we want to continue to be solid. And we want to have a good plan moving forward, right? Everybody's, most places are responsible. I know you guys you probably don't have much of that $54 billion in debt. But that's kind of why the involvement and why we're at where we are. So.
Does your toll roads, in the state, does that go to, don't say that debt?
The toll roads, that's a whole nother thing, but we can talk about it.
There's never major interstate, the state of Indiana is towed now, right?
No, right now, it's just that, it's 84, that corridor from Chicago running across, okay? Right now, the state, and I just came, like I said, I left Fort Wayne at 2:00, a little after, so I might not have sped to get down here. But those were some of the things we're talking about, that But right now, vehicles are becoming more efficient. Okay, everything's on, the gas tax is what's paying for our roads. Vehicles are getting more efficient, they're using better electric vehicles. That has to be addressed, what they're paying, to make sure we're all participating. But like I-70, they've done a lot of studies, like Interstate 70 that runs from Terre Haute through Indianapolis and on through. I don't remember the exact details, but the numbers are astronomical. It's just a drive-through, right? We, as citizens in Indiana, are paying for all these roads and maintenance on the roads, and we're not necessarily the ones using them. It's a minor percentage of people, Indiana residents, using I-70 on and off for a little bit, but they're not stopping, they're not getting gas, they're not doing much, so that's why the discussion of toll roads, are
So
being happened.
this form that you said out here, the estimated net levies,
Yeah,
this is on the property tax.
so.
Yeah, so this is what I'd ask, because of the numbers here for the fire department.
Yeah,
And again, where these numbers come from, but we always get numbers, but it shows here actually an increase.
yeah,
That Marengo Fire Department will have an increase of 3,000. English Fire will have an increase of 11,000. Whiskey Run will have an increase of 7,000. And Leavenworth will have an increase of 8,000 approximately.
you're right. I didn't mean to get sidetracked and, we were talking, but this is a paper that I gave them, and that's every taxing unit in District 48, 6 counties that I told you about, okay? Where the confusion became was the Association of Indiana Municipalities and AIC, Association of Indiana Counties. We have numbers in 2025, okay? And if we would have continued to raise taxes at the level we were, okay? Our rates would have been here, okay? Well, the whole idea with property tax reform and people upset about continuing raising property taxes, we've lowered that down a little bit, lowered that curve down. So when people, when they were saying, so-and-so county or the fire departments are losing X number of dollars, only in government could you say a smaller increase was a loss. So it might come out, if we would have continued, we'll look at Crawford County, the county. If you look across the top, and most of you guys have seen this before, but the first set of columns are 25, 26, 27, and 28. That would have been if we would not have done Senate Enrolled Act 1. We would not have no property tax reform. We'd have just kept on that trajectory of increased spending, okay? So that's what it would have been. So that was you see here, 4,176,053 for 2025, okay? 2026, if we'd have kept on, would have been 4.458373 million, okay? But now, actually, with all the effects of Senate Enrolled Act 1, all the changes, business, personal property, all of that, what actually in 2026 will be that 4,343,383, okay? So then go over to the third column, estimated revenue change per year. That's an increase of $167,333, 26 revenue over 25, okay? What they were doing, people were saying that 4,343,000 that you're gonna get, you potentially were gonna get 4.58 million. So that's 458,000 minus 343,000. What is that? It's roughly $115,000. You're gonna receive $115,000 less next year than you would have if we'd kept with the high tax increases of property taxes, okay? So they were showing it and saying Crawford County's losing $143,000. Well, and everybody thought that's $143,000 loss off of 2025. But actually, it's $167,000 gain, so 167 and 143 would have been, what would that have been, 310,000. So really, if we would have kept with it, raising taxes the way we were, your income would have been up from the 2025 to 26, which is, what is that? That's almost 300,000 roughly. Okay, so instead of being up 300,000 in revenue for 2026, Crawford County is up 167,000. So it's still an increase, but a lot less. So, that's where the confusion was, where, you know, it's a reduction of the increase, not really a loss. Unless you want to look at potential, but everybody wanted property tax deduction. So that's where the panic is set in for everybody, you know, and if we look down through here, every entity in Crawford County, other than Milltown, poor Milltown is gonna lose $139. They're gonna get $139 less in 2026 and 2025. Okay, other than that, everybody in the county is gonna get an increase. Now, all being that said, it's not much of an increase, right? So, you know, we can have to debate whether or not we're keeping up with inflation, you know, or not, you know, where that's all gonna lay out. But, you know, this is my opinion, this is a good tool for us to, you know, look and see what we're spending our money on, make sure we're efficient, and if we are, great. And then we've got some tools for us to do it at the local level, whether it's the wheel tax or the local income tax, but look at it from the point as the state income tax keeps getting less, that's less money coming from the state. But if you collect it locally, administer it locally, you're gonna be a lot more efficient, and you're gonna have the flexibility to the way you want. Is that? You know, that's kind of in a nutshell, a 7-year plan to do this. I think it's a good idea. Now, it's more responsibility, you know, for us. You guys are gonna have, as constituents, and you guys as constituents and residents, you're gonna have more input, but they're gonna be harder decisions. You know, but you're gonna be able to make them yourselves instead of being dictated to.
As far as the wheel tax goes, what type of entities can receive that public funding? Can you please clarify?
That I think is gonna be more like and I don't have all the terms yet, but I think that's gonna be that'll be more specifically used, just like the, whatever. I don't know the term that they call it, you know, I'm still a farmer, I don't have all 100% the terms laid out, but there will be a limited number of uses. You're not gonna be able to use the wheel tax to, you know, make a bike path. Or what, you know, something along those lines. I don't exactly know what they are, I'll have to get back to you on that, on those. You know, a lot of this stuff's being identified.
You have that,
The wheel and excise tax is broken down by the taxing units. So
right, I just know if you had that one paper that.
I have, yes,
Yeah.
so.
English, if we was to tax the tax at the rate
If
you
the
propose,
wheel and excise tax, which are.
what would English get?
Currently, at the minimum rate, English would receive $2,799. And at the maximum rate, they would receive $20,542.
But that is English of the town. Right?
English, correct.
They are.
The town.
Yeah.
So, like, on the wheel and excise tax, that money is deposited on the county level. I don't know what about the town, on the county level, that money is deposited into MBH unrestricted.
Oh, it is,
And then the
okay.
new, lane mileage distribution, which is a lot of confusion, that replaces community cross. The new lane mileage distribution, that has to go into the restricted fund because it's doing the same purpose that community crossings was doing prior to House Bill 1146.
There you go. Okay, see, I have all the answers.
Yeah, by statute, the wheel tax, excise tax can only be spent for road improvements.
But
So
it
it
can
had-
be deposited into the unrestricted.
But what I'm saying, it has nothing to do with fire departments.
So there's nothing to do with fire departments or.
I just want to clarify that.
Early on, I think it gave a false hope
Yeah.
to some fire districts when we first were told your LIT money might be going away. We were told some of these things, and I think it was kind of set out there that it was kind of a possible windfall that we could look at. However, I think it's going to be more of that public or county income tax, that if you're going to try to make those pieces up, that you would have to look at in the future.
what you guys did with the public safety.
Yes. Yes.
That benefits certain entities, however, not.
The lit tax, local income tax, right? That's what's gonna be used. And then, and it can, there's stipulations in there, how much you can spend. I'm thinking it might be up to 0.4 that theoretically could be going to fire departments, but you guys will have to work through all those numbers. Here's what happened, this is Daryl, the farmer, and Daryl being from the outside. Whenever we went up there and Senate Bill 1 at the time, it became ultimately Senate Enrolled Act 1 when it became a law. But when Senate Bill 1, there were so many changes and drastic cuts and threw everybody in panic. So everybody went into political mode, whether it was Association of Indian Municipalities, AIC, every entity was fighting for money and they were kind of scared. So they were throwing everything out here to get everybody upset and get everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody was trying to get to the table to eat because there was 10 people and there was 9 chicken legs, you know? So we were, they were trying to, you know, they kind of got everybody worked up. Then once we actually got going, I had 2 choices, you know, I didn't know what I was doing up there the first session. I thought, you know, I've either gotta bury my head in the sand and just take what we can get, or I gotta get involved and make it the best bill possible. And that's what I chose, and then I had a vote for it and supporting it. I caught a lot of heck for supporting it because there was, you know, cost to us, but I thought that was the best choice. So it ended up, you know, a lot less severe, but everybody was trying to get everybody stirred up to put pressure on everybody, you know, because everybody was fighting for it. So there was a lot of, I can't say misinformation, but everybody was spinning it to their advantage, and that's where the confusion became on all this stuff.
So, the way it is now, got 1% LIT, that the county, the divvy up towns, fire districts, probably, I don't know, probably libraries, and so much of that, I think our 1% tax that we have, 75% is local tax, and then 25% is economic development. So is that all, like we said earlier, is that all going, like restructuring in January of 28? It's all going to the county, they have to redistribute that?
Under the way it will be new, and I couldn't hear it all.
In January of 28, you said that's all going away, so it's kind of going away, but are they just have to redistribute that at that point? Before then, or?
If they're gonna make some changes, yes, it will. It will basically be the same process, but the percentages and the distribution will be changed, and it'll be up to you guys, yeah. Because I'm showing right now, you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 1.65% total. 7,500, 0.75, 0.75% goes to all units. 4,500 is public safety. 2/10 is for EMS and 2,500 is for economic development. Okay, so. I don't know do you know where you guys, where's the public safety? The fire departments are getting some of that. That's not the way it's set up at this point, because they're a fire district and not a volunteer fire.
No, it's going to EMS.
Or the EMS.
Okay, okay,
911 sheriff department,
okay,
police.
and then the police.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. You guys are unique. I think you're the only county that I've got that's entirely, all the fire departments are in a fire district. Okay, so I'm sorry.
This is Mrs. Benham.
It's what?
This is Mike Benham's mother. I'm sorry. You're gonna be just good.
I'm sorry, I can't. Michael who?
Michael Bell, he recently passed away. He was the creator of the fire district pretty much for every,
Okay.
he was the orchestrator of that, so I'm saying it's probably my dad's fault. That we're in a mess. But it was the way that they could survive.
No, I get it. I'm not saying that's wrong, and I apologize. I got hearing aids, right? So I can't always,
Well, it's.
I sometimes,
Yeah, you
I
know.
I think the fire district, what you're doing is the best thing. Okay. But no, I think it's actually, you guys are on the right track, and ultimately, this is gonna be a net positive. If I have anything to do with it, I think it's gonna be a net positive anyway, and I'm gonna make darn sure it is. Yes, sir.
I have one question, backing up, we just mentioned a little bit back, but, we lose nothing at 27. Your changes. And wheel tax, Okay, I believe that's when it resets again, but that's why they're having a meeting now, that if it's approved before August, or, yeah, September 1, August 31st, you receive that funding in 2026.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, if you would do it, there's a cutoff, right?
Wait a minute, if you wait till 27, you lose that money next year.
Yes,
You lose the first lane mileage distribution,
yes.
that language is really confusing everybody, unless you deal with the highway department budget on a daily basis. It's difficult to understand, but LTAF has published these numbers, and I think what's confusing everybody on the lane mileage is that if you have till fiscal year 27, well, that begins July 1st of 2026. So if you do not pass the wheel tax prior to September 1st of 2025, you lose the first lane mileage distribution next year. Okay, and that will be the largest distribution that gets done because it's taking fiscal year 2025 community crossings excess money and putting it into the lane mileage distribution next year. So Crawford County's lane mileage distribution next year, if we pass the wheel tax prior to September 1st, these numbers are from LTAP, I didn't make them up.
No, you're right.
They're for Purdue.
This is on me. I'm recognizing it now. So it's hard for me to keep everything straight. You're right.
Pass the wheel tax prior to September 1st, the county will receive 1.13 million lane mileage distribution. If we don't, we receive 0. So that is kind of, in community crossings, you're saying, oh, well, you can apply for the difference, you can, but it's taken a $255 million pot that it is this year, and next year it'll be a $50 million pot. So what that pot will be, community crossings will be to make up very small differences. So instead of getting $1 million grant like we're used to, you're looking at $30 and $40 and $50,000.
You're right. That's,
and NDOT's publishing that if you don't have a wheel tax, you're not getting funding for your road.
that's why I said you were getting a little bit, you were getting a little bitty portion of that one instead of the big bud. You're right. What's that?
Our president wants to know if you can come back to 26.
Can we, yeah, we need to finish up with the rest.
Oh, I'm so, yeah, the 20s.
The 26th,
26 is.
we have our public hearing.
Oh, here in August, yes, yeah, okay.
6 o'clock.
All right, and I'll hang around, if anybody has any questions afterwards, I'm happy to hang around.
I appreciate all your information.
Yeah.
Everybody's wanting to know.
Yes, I appreciate it, and you're very passionate about what you
Continue on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you got?
Okay,
We
so.
got about 50 minutes on that. We need to get going.
So the coroner couldn't make it, so she had sent me an email and asked if I could ask you all to do an additional on her autopsy line. She didn't say how much, so that would be up to you.
Well, that's tough. We did 2,500. Let's do that.
I'll make a motion, we'll do 2,500 additional.
With honor.
I'll second him.
You'll second, all in favor? 6-0.
Next up, I'm asking for, so we have a deputy that had an evaluation done, and all I'm asking for is to be able to create a line in the sheriff's department for evaluations, and then put an additional, do an additional for $5,000, because this one's for 1862, but they have another one that's coming in. And they really need an evaluation line in their department.
Comments, questions?
It'd just be within the county gym.
What do you need?
Did you need the line item for the
Evaluation,
valuations for a couple officers? And the one she has now is 1862, so she has two,
I'm asking for
maybe
5,000.
5,000 in that line item.
I'll make a motion for that.
Bill makes a motion, is there a second to that? John seconds, all in favor?
So you all have in front of you the non-binding reviews. You just need to review this, and then Mark, have you Mark's statement of what to say of what you choose.
Per IC 6-1 1-17-3.6, the county council reviewed the maximum levy and the property tax cap loss for all units in the Crawford County. The council recommends that all units use the maximum levy and the property tax cap loss amount to, as represented by the Department of Finance. You know, yeah.
Think we make a motion, anything on that, do we?
No, you just,
Would you review it?
Yep.
It's reviewed.
Thank you, Wendy.
okay, so,
How come Alt doesn't get anything? I thought they were incorporated town.
huh?
Come Alt doesn't get anything.
It's all, of them, so
Oh, way too much.
it's.
You say I asked you, I said you worried. Worried? I don't want to be something.
Yeah, the Sterling Township version conditions because there's a conflict.
Yeah.
And so you need to approve these, budgets for 2026. The general levy is 4530. Budget 7237 with a rate of 0.0366. And the assistance is a budget of 1,000. That's for Johnson.
I have a motion.
What is that?
I think it might be Stephanie. I'm serious, I think Stephanie, I think there's Stephanie.
I'll make a motion for you.
Thank you, Vic.
Yeah.
Is there a second to that? Second.
Okay.
All in favor? Big Zip. I heard say, well, probably.
That's not the number.
I don't know what that.
Those who are on Zoom, you might want to mute your
Somebody.
laptops so we don't hear you talking about
So
it.
next up, I have Sterling Township 2026 budget. General levies 26,802, budget 32,750, rate 0.0513. The assistance is 1,500, budget 5,900 with a rate of 0.0029.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we could do.
Troy, makes a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Linda seconds, all in favor?
I have the English Fire District Resolution 1 is for an additional, they're just doing additional for 30,000 in their capital outlays. And then that's for Resolution 1, and then Resolution 2, they're doing the same. For English Fire District is also an additional 30,000 for capital outlays. Yeah, and then,
So,
yeah,
done a motion to accept.
if you have any questions, Wayne, too,
I'll make a motion to accept that. I'll second.
Troy seconds, no favor, motion, all in favor?
you want all the additionals read, so we'll start.
Good.
All right. Highway Department, HMA chip and seal, it says CCMG, CCMG complaints paid, which is $1,873,836.60. Auditor, treasurer, and assessor financial taxing software, to county gen lit certified shares, professional services, 99,000. Auditor, treasurer, assessor, financial taxing software, to local tribal assistance, 175,034. Auditor, treasurer, assessor, financial taxing software, capital projects, computers, and professional services, 177,466. County gen maintenance, county gen building maintenance, 10,000. Assessor office supplies, reassessment equipment, $12,781. Auditor office equipment to auditor transfer fees equipment, $3,728. Judge's office consultants to alcohol and drug program director compensation, $6,000. Judge's office assessments to opioid unrestricted evaluations, $15,000. Highway Department federal bridge payment to Zoom Cap Development capital outlays, $347,122.48.
So before we go on to the transfers.
Yeah. We need questions, comments.
These are all the ones that we discussed, but we didn't have a meeting in July, so.
Where's the 1.8 million, where's that gonna pay for?
That is the highway department for the HMA chip and seal paid out of community crossing matching grant.
Okay. And that's a bridge payment on, out of the fuel cap. For 347,000.
Yes,
Is there
that's his federal bridge payment.
a motion on this?
I'm not making a motion, we approve them.
I'll second that. Whatever. Say the motion, please. Second, all in favor? 6-0.
We got a question, we supposed to sign both papers on this thing?
Yes, because it's two different ones, it's resolution one and
Well,
resolution.
They're
I know.
per thing.
Laura, go ahead and read the grant.
Go ahead.
Yep, we got some copies, they're the same, you both signed.
Transfers are prosecutor user fees
Wayne?
fund, 2508 on deferred infraction fund, 2504, $10,780.
do it.
Prosecutor user
Just sign
fees
the copy.
fund,
Had to do a
2508, retrial fund, 2503, $5,155.
You need a copy here, and then we need a copy.
Judge's office to teach jury, 1,232.10, okay, so judge's office to teach jury, and that's the line item, the line that it's going to from. Non-contract PD is 1580. Sheriff inmates institution to sheriff jail repair and maintenance, 2,000. CASA matching funds, CASA celebration supplies for $379.96. And then highway fuel is going to multiple places. It's other supplies, fleet maintenance, utilities, building grounds, tools, and road maintenance. There's 5,000 for other supply or office supplies, I think that was supposed to be. Fleet maintenance, 65,000, utilities, 5,000, building ground maintenance, 5,000, tools is 10,000, and then road maintenance is 89,000.
No questions, I'll approve, I move to approve the transfers.
Resolution. There's questions, comments?
Second.
Or a second?
I second.
Bill second, all in favor? 6-0. What else?
So, the last thing I really have, because the minutes we will bring next meeting, because we've been working on the budget, so
Okay.
we don't have those.
Thank you for your done.
I did get an email from Jackie though, and it's about setting the budget workshop date. It's not available the week of August 18th, the week of September 22nd, the week of September 29th, or the week of October 6th.
So what's that leave? Does that leave us the same week we're having a public meeting, which that'll make our nice full week?
Well, we were going to do the second and third, but.
No, we-
Bill's on
No, we're
vacation.
not.
No, I
Yeah,
mean, that's what she.
I know, but no, we wouldn't. I know, that's what she done. So that leaves a 9/15, 10/13, I mean, that public safety week, or that public meeting week, we could. do it
26th.
Tuesday, Wednesday, instead of Monday, Tuesday,
Oh, well, we're fine with Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. Thank you.
just throwing it out there, guys.
26.
That'd be fine with me.
When?
26, 27.
Of August? Or
Yeah.
September?
August.
Oh. What is-
No, our public,
Well, we have.
No, no.
we have-
Drinks on the
our
20th.
public, our special meetings till 6.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah,
We've been doing this at the point.
yeah, good, that's right, yeah, just make sure we're the right one.
26,
I
27.
mean, Labor Day weekend.
No, no, wait, wait, that's when we have that answer, right?
That's at night.
What is it, the 15th? So she's got the 8th date, right?
I can't do the 26, I can do the 8th.
That's what we have the-
Okay.
Our special meetings on twenty-six.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has to have a budget on their 30-day, 20-day.
There's 4 weeks you can.
No, 26, yeah, I can't do same day.
It's all the same day.
Yeah.
9th and 10th.
So I just in the morning.
I don't know if you guys are okay with that.
Unless I said September 13th or whatever days was.
The 9th and 10th would be all right with me too.
The 9th and 10th.
September.
Yeah, I didn't pass it.
The 103rd, or,
You do 9th and 10th?
let's do that.
You guys do 9th and 10th?
September,
16th and 17th.
yeah.
Hold on.
Maybe we can all do the 9th and 10th.
We can do the 22nd.
Can we do the 15th instead, September?
Oh, September 15th.
The
Monday,
15th, 16th.
Yeah, that week, I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it.
I'm okay with it.
I can't the
Unless you
19th,
want to do it Tuesday, Wednesday.
I can't the 19th.
No, it'd be whatever that, either Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday.
I can do Monday, Tuesday.
Chad is saying the 9th and 10th is best for him.
Okay.
That's not,
Yeah, we'll just get it. We don't-
Give me just a second, trying to get it.
If I'm not here,
Or you can say.
it's okay. Okay. What is that? Retains. Meeting the 8th.
You need to be here, Mark.
Yeah.
I'll be here the 8th.
You're a good pencil.
So I have a,
You're gonna do the 8th.
you do the 8th.
Do the
I may not be here the 9th, but I'll be here the 8th.
8th and 9th. What is yours?
Yeah.
8th and 9th, Chad?
What's that?
So the 15th, 16th, 17th,
It wouldn't work for them.
He's okay with the 8th and 9th, Chad is.
Okay. Yeah,
8 AM.
yeah, maybe all day, get it all done.
Yes. Sure.
So are they gonna be on one day, the 8th, they're gonna do?
Well, we shoot for one day, we don't work it away.
And 8 o'clock.
Eight.
Feel better, Chad, I don't like this job. Vice President, don't do anything.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
I think it's.
John seconds it, all in favor?
Yeah.
Six to
Hold on.
Words.
Hey, Jesse.